Hi, I'm Mara Webster with In Creative Company, and thank you so much for tuning into one of our talks today. We are a year-round talk series bringing you the best creative voices across film, television, and theater. And today we are here to celebrate the wonderful film Isaac, currently premiering at Slamdance Film Festival. We have writer and director Jurgis Matulevičius and screenwriter Saulė Bliuvaitė. And thank you so much to both of you for joining us. And I wanted to start by asking you about the genesis of the script, because this is based off of a short story, a very long short story that's about 60 pages. And that short story sounds like it's actually written more in the form of a diary rather than a narrative structure. So when the two of you were writing the script and turning this into a movie, what was the journey of finding the story that you wanted to tell from within those pages?
Should I start or Saulė?
Either of you, whoever wants to jump in first.
This film is based on a short story by Antanas Škėma, and really, to make it clear, we really used only the first, I think, 7 pages of the story. It's the main event, the massacre, which actually happened in Lithuania in 1941, and later everything else we created ourselves. So it's kind of fiction, but it's mixed with real events which were happening during the Soviet era in Lithuania. It's also a mix of another this writer's works, and also his personality and himself, because he's himself like a character in the film as well. So it's a mix of lots of things, I guess.
Yeah, and you mentioned the form of the diary, and we actually tried to make this film to feel like, like some kind of mixed bag of mixed memories, and because sometimes you just cannot tell what is real and what's a dream. So me and Jurgis, we tried to portray that in a script, and Jurgis carried on in the sense of the directing to make it seem like Andrius is telling his story and reliving his memories again and again, and having this paranoia all the time. So yeah, you made a good point about the diary thing.
Yeah. And as a character, he's dealing with the fact that something happened over 20 years ago and he still lives with the guilt, and that creates a lot of trauma. But I thought it was interesting that you also explore that through the other characters. So how were you both thinking about the other characters in the film and the impact that this experience from over 20 years ago would still be having on them, in the way that just psychologically it's still part of their everyday experience in life?
We created this triangle of friends, who were separated by war and exile, and they meet again after 20 years. And the connection is lost, of course, because of the time and the difference of the regime where Andrius and Alana live, and where Gediminas comes from a free world, and the thing, and this connection feels because they're trying to build everything anew, but on the old memories, and this just it's not meant to happen, It's not meant to happen to a healthy relationship between the three of them, because there is, this burden of guilt, and then, this love triangle which we are trying to portray during the film.
Also, you mentioned that, the main character has this trauma and this hidden secret, but next to him is Alana, who loves Andrus, but somehow she is also living in this, in this limbo together with him. And we really tried to, to portray her. She doesn't know anything about what happened, but somehow she feels everything. She carries on his guilt. And yeah, that's the thing that was about Alana. I mean, that's her thing in this film, And at the end, where she tries to get into the hospital to see her husband, and she is denied there. She cannot enter and she cannot see him. And she comes out, and somehow she feels that all this guilt, all this, hard rock that was crushing her went away. And yeah, that's actually, she's the only character in the film that ends up, ends up better than it was from the start. Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about the opening scene, which I know everybody just really kind of loves the way that you've approached and filmed that, kind of 8-minute segment, because you also had about 250 extras, and you had people who were actors, but also it sounds like a lot of people who lived nearby just heard you were making the film and wanted to come and be part of it. But in telling a story that's revisiting such a traumatic and sensitive part of Lithuanian history, what was the environment on set with everybody and the experience of filming those scenes all together?
Well, it was a first scene we filmed, and it was the most difficult scene we had in this film. And well, because of the number of people we had, and because of what we were filming, so the thing is that we rehearsed the scene for 2 days, I think, and I had 5 directors, my friends, who helped me, and all of them had a group of people to direct, and so that's how we helped each other. And yeah, well, the thing is that the scene looks, I don't know, from my point of view now, when I revisit it, yeah, it looks really realistic. And I guess that's because of the people who were in the scene, because they were, as you said, not actors, because they were people from around the casting directors which we had. They were just searching for the faces, with the story, and we gathered everyone there, and we did that in every group we put a couple of actors for them to help with the crowd directing, and I guess it went quite well.
Yeah, but also talking about the atmosphere on the set, because I was one of the people that was working with the extras. Actually, it was really hard for them, for some people who had who had to humiliate others somehow, to scream something at the at the middle of the scene where the humiliation was taking place. And it was really, really hard, and for me as well, to recreate this enormous hatred, and this. It was really hard to just look at the, when we were shooting. It was just really hard to look at that scene, and people were, some extras just didn't want to go near the scene. So it was really a lot of tension there while we were shooting.
Yeah, but the main group of people who were acting the Jews and the Nazi collaborators, I think they were well prepared, because they really knew that we are shooting, history, that we are shooting something that really happened, and we are trying here to portray it, and we need to portray it as hard as we can, and we need to say we need to show how it really happened. And well, I think that they were that they knew the historical context, so maybe it was easier for them to play the part in this massacre.
Yeah. And didn't you have some of the non-actors that worked with you on the film didn't realize how long the days would be, and some of them actually just decided that they were a bit bored and left in their costumes?
Yes, yeah. So I think we told the story lots of times that yeah, we had actors. Well, they were not actors, and they just left the set in the middle of the shooting day, and 2 weeks later, some people were calling us and telling that half of Vilnius is walking with the 1941 clothes still, So yeah, it was kind of...
You could go to some places, some parks, and just, it was like 1941 again there.
And, with your cast overall, did you have much of an opportunity to have rehearsals with them? I know that you had a couple of days to rehearse that opening scene, but for the rest of the movie, was there much opportunity to have rehearsals and to really talk through the scenes, or did you just have to dive straight into filming a lot of the scenes and really finding the emotional beats of what that was going to be together on set?
Well, the thing is that one shooting day we were shooting one scene, so half of a day it was kind of a rehearsal. We were checking the camera movement, the lights, the set dressing, but the actors were on set, so I could rehearse with them, and they could rehearse with each other. So yeah. And really we had the rehearsals on set, and I was on set all the time, starting from the set dressing, because I really like to help my set dresser with the set, and it helps me to see or to feel things that should be in the frame.
Yeah, but also Jurgis didn't mention that we weren't shooting, day by day.
Yeah.
As it's common to do that. We were shooting sometimes once a month. There were just, one day in a month. So Jurgis were, for a week before, he's dressing, the apartment, and then we were shooting a few days in the apartment, and then we are done with that. So Jurgis didn't mention that we really had the luxury to to have a lot of days of preparation. So
yeah, and okay, so I could mention one more thing, that the thing is that helped us that we shot this film, from beginning to the end. So the first scene in the film was the first shooting day, and then we started, page by page, and with this gaps of time, me and Saulė could have time, to rewrite the script, accordingly to what we shot previously, and it was a luxury, and it was, I don't know, it was a curse and a blessing in one.
What were some of the changes and edits that you made when you were filming, with the fact that you had that time between shooting all of the different scenes to really look at what you were getting, look at what the actors were doing, and make those adjustments and changes?
Yeah, well, Jurgis loved to, come up with something new all the time on the set. Let's just do, another thing now. And then, afterwards, I was, asking a lot of questions about, but this is that's not how it was supposed to be, you know, and we missed something. What do we do now? And we changed something. Actually, you can see that in the movie because we had a lot of loose ends at the editing room, but there is a charm there as well. I mean, somehow it was really nice to make a film, you know, on the set. And at the beginning, it was kind of weird, you know, but then all the team just, you know, went for it. And and actors also were working just freely, you know, and improvising, and everything happened on the set. So it was very interesting experience.
Yeah. And you were both mentioning the set dressing, but I also wanted to ask you about the journey of finding the locations, because you have such beautiful locations. And, you know, for a film of this size, you really use a lot of locations as well. And they have to not just be representative of the characters in the narrative, but also very specific to the time period. And you found a lot of locations that have a beautiful kind of like lived in, almost a little bit derelict feel to them. So how did you set about finding, you know, so many locations that really just beautifully spoke to the film that you wanted to tell on screen visually?
I think that finding the locations for the film is my favorite thing in doing the movie. And I really do it myself, you know. I just walk, have long walks in the city and really dig for them. And so many of these locations were the locations where I spent my, I don't know, young days with my friends, you know, having a drink, you know, with a nice view. And some of them were found by my location managers. So we really had a big team on that. And I don't know, the thing that why we had these gaps, I think that because we were searching for this location, you know, this exact spot where we should film. And it takes time, you know, when you search for it yourself, it takes time. But I really love to be in everything, and not to have control on everything, but just to, you know, to take my time in doing things and doing it right. So just that's my credo.
And Jurgis, I wanted to ask you about the camera movement in the film. It's so beautifully shot, you know, and I love the way that the camera is always moving and just following the characters. And sometimes it goes to the side and we see something, you know, we just see a couple of background actors walking by, but giving a lot of texture and additional detail to the story. And I know that you actually filmed most of the scenes in one take and then would edit the jumps in between. Why did you want to make that very specific choice and always have the camera moving throughout the scenes as you were telling the story?
I don't know. I think maybe I was really inspired by Bellatar films, maybe Gaspar Noé films, you know, where they have this long and interrupted takes, and sometimes they're even too long. But that's the point of it, you know. It's just a little bit too long, and then but well, I don't know. It was like my idea, you know. This I had this big idea to shoot the film that in every scene I will use only one take. But the main thing, I guess, that when I come into when I find a location and we set it up, so, you know, we set it up like everything, you know. It's just well, the flat, we needed to set it all up to make it livable, you know. And when you do this, you know, for a month, you're preparing a flat, you know, and you make this little things, you really want to show everything. And but it's also because I really like to let my actors improvise on the set, you know, when we rehearsing, to find their special places, or to find the connection between them and the things that are on set. And so I really want to see all the time like 360, you know. So the thing is that then we can't put lights you know, somewhere, and so the lighting should be natural. So, and I think that this approach makes all the film more natural, and it gives the freedom for me to direct, for actors to act, and for camera, for the DOP to dance his dance, you know. And yeah, and I really wanted to make him a character, the camera and the DOP, just to be another character, which sometimes, you know, looks aside, and sometimes he's really into it, and sometimes he spins around a character, and sometimes it just, you know, rests. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, for both of you, I love the intention and the use of black and white and color, and the fact that it isn't just, okay, the 1920s is black and white, and then we move into color. You think very specifically about when you want to use color and the way that you use it on screen. Was that something that you were both thinking of even when you were first writing the script, in how you visually wanted to translate this onto screen and tell the story?
Yeah, we were discussing that all the time, actually, of how would the, you know, the audience think of this, you know, this idea of changing black and white to color and then back. And but there is, you know, Jurgis has the answer for, because all the people ask why is this like that, and Jurgis always has the answer that, you know, black and white is past and the color is present. But actually, many people don't understand what that means. I mean, we tried to make the middle part somehow, you know, with the intention that everything is gonna be better, you know, and that's why it's colorful, you know. The film is being made, and everything somehow, it seems that all the characters could, you know, could leave all the past behind. And yeah, we try to make this hopeful, to try to make this, you know, a hopeful part. And that's why Jurgis is always saying that it's a present, you know. But when you're in the present, you don't know what's gonna come next. So at the end, you're in the future, but you're back in the past, you know. So
well, yeah. Well said, Saulė. I think, yeah. Well, the idea was because the idea was to shoot all the film in black and white at first, but when I saw the colors and how my set designer made how the set looked in colors, I really wanted to start shooting in color. But we already shot, you know, 1/3 of the film in black and white. And then me and Saulė, we talked, and we came with a conclusion that I don't know, it's cinema, it's film. You can mix things. You can you know, we just we're playing post-punk music in 1960s, you know, and yeah, and why not, you know? It's film, it's fiction, it's our worlds, and we're free to do anything we want in our worlds. Yeah, so it's kind of, yeah, it's I don't know, that's why I love cinema so much, you know.
Yeah. Well, you both have done such a fantastic job in the way that you've told this story. So congratulations on that. And thank you so much for talking with us all about the movie this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks you.
Nice talk.